I think if I had tried to do this 10 years ago or 5 years ago, I don't think I was there. It wasn't time for those things,
Absolutely.
for that to come out yet. This has been such a timing thing and such a undeniable, just, there was these dominoes that fell into place that we had no hand in, that were happening around us, and these songs were coming out, and we were like, whoa. And it was amazing. And just we had only written, I think we had written Easy and maybe one other thing. And Brandon and I took this trip across, we took a road trip from Route 66. We started in Oklahoma City and we drove all the way to Santa Monica. And we didn't really have a destination in mind. We just went. We just took the Route 66. We went through 13 states in 10 days. And as we were on that trip, and as all of this was starting to unfold, this writing thing, and the fact that I thought, maybe I can do this. Maybe this is something I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe, that road trip was such a parallel of what my life was doing at the time. It was side by side. I didn't know what was around the next corner. I didn't know what the next thing was going to look like. I had no control. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that was happening literally on the road, but it was happening literally in my life at the same time. And so that trip, it changed my life because of what I was going through. And it inspired all these other ideas to come for us to, when I came back, and I was like, and I have this idea and these things that I want to say, and this is something that's important, and enjoy the view, and all these things, like there was just all this stuff that was coming from that I was like, and
all over the map.
All over the map.
I love the song.
That's
I love
thing.
the album title, and we don't have a song on there, but you came up with that, and it's true. Yeah. Not only literally, but musically. It's a little bit all over the map, in that this album features your different influences and the styles that you love.
Right.
And I love.
And I think that was something, again, the honesty of everything was, when we sat down to write songs, we didn't set out to write genres. We didn't set out to write specifics. We didn't set out to write anything. We just were like, what do you want to say? And how does that feel? And that's what we did. You know what I mean? And so if it felt, a little more one way or a little more whatever, but everything was so authentic and it was coming from such a real place, that was where, as we started putting this, listen to these songs all together, we're like, man, we're really like going all over. In fact, we were here. We had just cut, I forget what we had cut. Mike Johnson was here, and Mike was the one that said, he's like, I just love this stuff. It's just all over the map. And you and I looked at each other like, that might be an album title,
Don't give Mike Johnson
I know,
credit for
I
anything.
but
Gosh,
I mean, but seriously, but when he said that, I thought, that's what this is. It is all over the map, because my life has been all over the map, especially in this last year. It's just kind of been everywhere, and I've been honing in on who I am. Really, authentically, genuinely, who am I? What am I doing? And making music for my soul, and hopefully people out there will love it, and they'll hear it, and they'll hear me, and they'll go, hey, it's Teea, and we know Teea, and we're glad, you know what I mean? And that's heard, like I heard Mo's record, because when I heard that, I thought, that's him. Every song on there is that's him, because it was him telling his own story, and I feel like I've finally had the opportunity to tell my own story, and I can't wait to get it out there.
You're a lot like Mo in some ways, because Mo had a lot of influences growing up, and for whatever reason, he kind of got put in that category of traditional country singer, and he's wonderful at it, and he loves it.
Absolutely.
But he grew up on bluegrass. He loves James Taylor. I mean, his biggest influence might possibly be James Taylor.
Yeah.
A lot of people might be surprised. You've got a lot of influences.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, we wrote a thing on there that we were trying to channel Sinatra.
Yeah.
And I know that was a big influence on you.
Huge.
And you listen to all kinds of stuff.
Right, I do listen to all kinds of music, and I have forever. Now, I grew up in a household that listened to nothing but country music. That was all, for many years, that I didn't even know there were other music that existed, because that's what we had. We had a little AM radio, and that's what we listened to. But as I got into like junior high, I remember discovering the Beatles. as if it was
Had a new
1963.
band, or-
Yeah, right. Like, but really, I went through that whole phase as though they had just come out, and that was all brand new to me. And I remember I had like Beatles posters on my wall and stuff, and because I was just like, what is this? This is
Yeah.
different. And then I found Sinatra. I discovered Sinatra and fell in love with Sinatra. And, you know, throughout my life, I've listened to all kinds of music. I've always sang country because that's kind of where I lived and what I was doing and what I knew. And I love country music. I do. But it's been really interesting. Again, as we've been writing this stuff, we didn't set out specifically to write something that went a certain way or went a different way. It's just that's the way it fell out because that's my influence.
We let the song dictate where it should
we
go.
We
Yeah.
did, and that was the beautiful thing about it is because we would get done and go, huh, well that's cool, like that's got, you know, like
There
wow.
was a couple
Yeah.
times you were a little bit uncomfortable, and I said, just go with it. Let's just push it
Right.
a little bit, and we can always reel back in, you know.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely. And it was and I needed to be pushed. I was to that point where I've learned my big theme this year has been to do it afraid. Do it afraid. It's scary, but go ahead and do it. You're never going to walk on water till you get out of the boat. And that is just something that to me has just rung true more and more. And the more you do it, the more you step out when you're afraid. It's like, oh wait, oh okay, and it makes it easier to take the next
Absolutely,
step. And that's
yeah.
that has been just something that I've really learned about myself and about music and about the career and the things that I want to do, and how important it is that music is about feeding your soul. That's what it's about. I mean, that's the purpose in music. That's where it came from, is someone crying out, you know, just getting your feelings out. And for me to be able to do that during this time of, you know, when the world was sort of upside down, I needed it. It was therapeutic for me. It really was. And
Well,
it
it was
taught me
me
a lot
too.
about myself.